Yes, we're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I'm John Popko from Times Shamrock with, who's that? Is that me?
Yeah.
Jesus, I did already.
Already?
You did it already.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Rock 107, ESPN, and Alt 92.1.
My name is Brittany Boot, and I'm the owner of Boot Photography Studio.
My name is, sorry.
Go ahead.
Pat Kwiatkowski, and I own Jeweled Moon, an illustrated company with artwork.
See this guy? He introduces himself. He does all the work for me. I don't have to. I don't let you host the rest of the
I'll
show.
butcher his name.
I gave him a mercy one there.
There you go.
So we're going to obviously talk about how he became an artist, how jam bands like the Grateful Dead and Phish have inspired his work. We'll talk a little bit about Mountain Sky. We haven't really gotten to cover them much this season, so we'll talk about them and much more. So stay tuned for the next hour, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them right down below, and we'll get to those in a bit. We're also going to talk about the ongoing controversies, in quotes, surrounding Camp Bisco in Scranton, so we'll stay tuned for that as well. And if you have any opinions on Camp Bisco, whether you think the festival should stay or you think it should go, please let us know that as well. We're going to also read your comments that you left us earlier today. So before we get to the interview, we got some beer to drink. Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre is our newest sponsor. They have 72 beers on tap, including 30 from Pennsylvania breweries, just like this one, Susquehanna Brewing Company. These guys are committed to craft. So each week they're providing us with these gigantic crawlers, which are bigger than our heads, full of beer, which is pretty great.
Give me those 2 glasses. I'll fill those up.
This week
never
is
have too much
Sunny Spot, which is brewed right here in Pittston, Pennsylvania. It's a grapefruit shandy, perfect for the summertime, that you can get a lot of places, but Beer Boys has a special version that you can only get there that's dry hopped with Citra and cask condition. Now, they tell me cask beer is considered live beer, which is real ale because it's unpasteurized and served around 55 degrees. So this is a little bit different than what we're used to, because we usually get this after the show at Franklin's down the street. So this will be interesting to try this version, which is a little bit different from the usual.
That's what's cool about Beer Boys. Like, in addition to their 72 beers on tap, they always have this cask, which is kind of special for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's tasty.
So you can't walk into a convenience store and just buy this on the shelves. Like, you have to go to Beer Boys to get it. So
That's pretty cool.
I think it's one of the special things about Beer Boys, which is neat, you know?
And, we always try to give our, honest opinions. So I thought coming in, I'm like, I don't know what I can say about this that I haven't already said. Like, it's a great beer. I like it as it is. But this is actually pretty interesting. Like, I thought I really wouldn't be able to tell the difference, that my palate wasn't that trained that I could tell whether it was, the bottled version or this. But you can definitely tell the difference with the cask version. It's it tastes like he said, more like a real ale, as opposed to it being filtered and put through, the system and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It definitely has a different taste to it. Like it's like it was brewed fresh and then just poured right in there.
It almost tastes like orange juice.
Their grapefruit. It's probably my favorite. Like, this is probably one of my favorite beers. But having that hops added to it,
Right.
It's it makes it a very interesting beer. It's tasty. I'm enjoying the hops.
I think the Citra maybe is giving it that orange juice sort of flavor to it.
Yeah, I get that orange juice. Yeah,
Like,
Have
I really
it for
wanna-
breakfast.
a breakfast beer is never a bad thing.
That's right.
Or a shower
I prefer
beer.
a shower beer.
Shower beer. I'll drink to that.
I'll never do a shower beer again because I actually was having a shower beer and trying to take an appropriate Snapchat of me having a shower beer. And I dropped my phone in the shower.
Oh no.
Listening to Duran Duran, the fun fact.
Just
nice.
enjoy the shower beer for what it is.
Yeah, right?
You don't need to complicate it.
Yeah. No,
I know.
a shower beer is between you and the universe. Nothing
Yeah,
else
you're
should be
right.
any part of that.
So try it again.
It was only to one person. Wasn't to the Snapchat world.
It could have been a worse snafu if it took a picture somewhere,
Or,
While
like if
you're
it
falling
recorded
down.
and
Yeah,
like...
on the way down.
like it fell.
I think this is served at 55 degrees too.
Yes.
So it's a little warmer than
It is a little
Maybe
bit
that's why it's a
warmer.
little bit more like orange juice too, because like I'm used to having that like brunch orange juice. It's kind of been like sitting out a little bit. That's
Yeah.
like, smooth, easier to drink.
It's a 4.7
Okay.
typically, and you really can't taste it at all. Like it really just tastes like juice.
We've got plenty to.
That's actually one of the things I loved about the beer
You
is
slammed
that,
that.
you could go to a festival. This was my festival beer last year at Mount Sky, or not last year, last week, Stonehenge, sorry. And this was my festival beer minus the hops. So, but it's 4.7, and you could drink it out in the sun and not be totally headache or anything
Yeah,
at the
that's
end of the
true.
day, you know. So I try to look for a beer with a lower alcohol content when I'm going to go all
'Cause,
day,
yeah.
Wook style. You know?
You're in for the long run.
Yes.
No one starts off with Golden Monkey day drinking.
Blithering idiot
marathon.
all day long.
Air-
Marathon, not
Yeah.
a sprint. You know?
Yes.
That's why I like having beers. Like I don't mind having beers like Miller Lite or Corona or something like that. If you're gonna drink in the daytime in the summer, like that's probably the only time I really drink those beers. But because you could pretty much drink them all day,
Yeah.
and not be totally like rowdy.
They're more refreshing, I think, than absolutely
out,
crippling
depending
you.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you like variety and want to try this SBC, head over to Beer Boys on North Washington Street.
What's the actual name? Like the name of the beer?
It's SBC Sunny Spot Dry Hopped with Citra.
Right.
Got
Right?
it.
Is that it? I get that right?
You did.
Good.
It's very
Oh,
good.
it's right in the can. Look at that. Sunny Spot Dry Hopped with Citra.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice. So we
Gerard,
all,
you want to try it?
Yep.
yeah, give the producer the beer. That's a great idea while he's working.
He's never failed us yet.
That pour.
He'll blame it on the rain if he screws up.
Yeah.
Now, we also want to give a shout out to one of our other sponsors, the Keys in downtown Scranton. This Saturday, they're having an acoustic night with some people you may be familiar with if you've gone to any of the NEPA Scene open mics. Joe Craig, Mizumu, and Katie Evans with Candy V. And next Saturday, July 29th, is Honeyman Lightning, who's playing a benefit for Camp White Pine, who are resisting a natural gas pipeline being built on their land in Pennsylvania. So if you're one of those very principled people and you want to help out, it's $5 at the door, so it's cheap and it's a good time. And you can also dress in your favorite dystopian wear, which I think is pretty great because the whole theme is the climate change apocalypse. So that's pretty clever. And the Kirby Center is also one of our sponsors. They have Connor Oberst playing there on July 27th,
Woo!
which will be a good show. Fastball on July 29th. A lot of people are excited for that. We actually just did a feature on them a couple months back. We'll repost it for people in the next couple weeks in case you missed it. We also did, we premiered a song from one of the openers, Patrick McGlynn, who's a local guy. And Amos Lee is on July 30th. So now that we've got all the plugs and all that good stuff out of the way, we want to talk to you about how you got started as an artist. Was this something that you grew up drawing?
Actually, yeah. Since I was able to pick up a pencil, I was drawing. And then influenced by a cousin, also my cousin Nick. If you check his stuff out, it's Quacked Out Productions. He was a big influence on my artwork. And then it's funny how he settled in his own way and I settled in my style. But yeah, many influences on the way. What got me into it was just the joy of it. I loved it. You know, it was absolutely to create. And I think as a photographer or as, you know, someone in the arts, you guys are all, you know, the video arts or whatever it is that you do. It's creating something and putting it out there and seeing what people think and feedback. It's just a good feeling, you know.
So did people reacting to your drawings help encourage you to keep going and keep doing it?
Sure, absolutely. I guess even from a young age, teachers telling you, hey, that's pretty good, or friends saying, you know, just to the smallest things, or my mom and dad encouraged me to keep continuing what you want to do and what is passionate to you. Seeing a little flame or a spark and adding a little air to it, you know. But yeah, it's definitely, many people have helped me on my road to where I am today. Gratefully, too. Many people have helped me.
Now, have you kept doing it the whole time, or was it something that you kind of fell off for a little bit and came back?
I took a long break, became a dad,
Well,
started.
that's a good excuse.
Yes. It was all the music and the art at the time. When I was in college and before college in high school, I used to travel and follow Phish. I still remember my friend Brian in his house putting in a CD, Billy Breathes in there, and playing Waste, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. And next thing you know, 2 years later, I'm following them around, I followed them, I followed Further, I followed a lot of different music acts. I like other things too. I saw Tom Waits. I wish I got to see Leonard Cohen.
Oh, me too.
That's a bummer that he's gone, but he was definitely, a lot of music is, like I said before, without music, I think life is meaningless. So I think that's what drives my artwork,
Now, could maybe tell us a little bit about the jam band scene? It's always been something that I've kind of looked from the outside in, like maybe it's a generational thing or what, but I never saw that. But I see what an influence it has, even in the area, places like Mountain Sky,
Oh, sure.
The Peach Music Festival, stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about that culture, what it is.
Once you're in it, you're totally immersed. I guess that's how it changes you. It's just the music. You have to be gravitated to the music. The music is the first thing that gets you. Who do you like? Who do you like musically?
I like a lot of punk and metal.
Yeah, I love punk and metal,
a lot
too.
of harder stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Anything but country.
Anything but country?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like everything, including country.
You would.
I like beautiful noise. And the funny thing is, when I stopped, I let down some walls and I started listening to other things that people introduced me to. Jam bands alike. Like I got into Mo, Humphreys McGee, and I just heard about Mo canceling their tour.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
that's
It's kind
sad.
of bummer. I hope he's okay. Rob, I believe
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay. I hope everything goes well there. But, all these other bands, they all came from Jerry, it seems like, from the Grateful Dead. They're all influenced. Phish, all the way down through. What a umbrella that he created of a culture, like you're saying. To be inside it, though,
Yeah.
the only way to understand it is to just immerse yourself into it. That's the only. One day, go to a festival with me. I'll take you with me, and we'll immerse ourselves and have a grand time.
It seems like with many many genres and their fans, like everyone, obviously has a connection with each other, but with like the jam band scene, it's like so elevated and like the connection that everyone has, like their family, like that's like the term like you hear like so much with that whole scene, like family, community, and like the bands. Some of the bands are on such a tier that like they connect with their fans on just like a friendship level, as well as like it's just different. Like I feel like in that scene, like you don't go to like Warped Tour and you don't see like the bands kind of like knowing their fans necessarily, or like
Sure.
having some kind of personal relationship with them. But for some reason in the jam band scene, like that barrier is like almost not even there in some
That's
cases.
true. That's true. I mean, my buddy, we were on a Phish lot in 2003, I want to say, or 4. It was right before they broke up. I know that. And Mike Gordon picked him up in a golf cart, and off they went. I missed it by 2 seconds. I could have been in the golf cart with Mike Gordon. I met Trey once at a show. I snuck into Merriweather Pavilion because I didn't have enough money for a ticket. Thank you to Glenn Letterman, if you're listening, for getting me in. And it was a blast. We had a great time. And that show, I was supposed to go to Norfolk the following day, and I couldn't make it. And that was the only time that they played Terrapin Station, pretty much ever. So, getting back to, there's just a feeling that you get to meet like these people out and about, and they're like, even at the show, they're in the lot. A lot of times they're not hidden behind a door doing what they're doing. They come out and see everybody, which is cool. So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, like it's just a different dynamic between the musicians and the artists and their fans, I feel like, in that scene.
Yeah, there's a respect because, I mean, they're not getting mobbed by everybody. Everybody would love to get a picture, but no one's chasing them down or beating them down. Hey, man,
Yeah, it is
play some
different.
beautiful music for me today. That's all we want,
Yeah.
And they usually do.
I have a couple friends that play in that scene, and one friend specifically, we were talking about that, like how you were saying, like how like the whole umbrella under Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead, like pretty much created this entire like microcosm or
a
this
universe.
entire world. Yeah, it's like a universe.
a
And
universe.
he was like, every paycheck I get somehow trickles down in
From
some
Jerry.
way from Jerry Garcia, obviously not, from him personally, but in that sense, which is like pretty fascinating. It's like an entire scene.
It's wonderful too, because the people. Yeah, you get good and bad in every crowd, but the people there are very giving, friendly, outgoing. Willing to talk, open, very communicative. It's just a different world. Yeah. So if you guys want to ever get a chance, I'll take you under. We'll go up to Mount Sky and we'll experience one.
It's never been my thing. Like the whole jam thing, I'm just like, just get to it already.
Yeah.
Just finish it.
Yeah, but you do a music you love.
You gotta feel
Yeah,
it.
I mean, like,
It's just not that. Something else gets you, blows your hair back.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But what you said though too is like, everyone's kind of a family, and that's kind of neat. But I just can't get into that jam stuff, man. Like, I appreciate the music for what it is, but like, just get to it.
Yeah, man. No, I know, man. I know a lot of people that feel that way, that tell me, how could you travel around listening to the same songs over and over again and love it? I just, every song is a different thumbprint, and you have to listen to them live. But I get what you're saying. A lot of friends that are that way.
15 minutes? Come on.
And now, man, and some of them are 30, 40 minutes. The jam's real good, dude.
I like Dave Matthews, but once he, like, for his live shows, once he gets, I was like, all right, dude. Like, next song, next.
Yeah.
Dave Matthews. He's a jammer. Yeah. But you know what is, everybody has a genre that they seem to gravitate to more, like, and that's good. I mean, it's what blows your hair back.
Sure.
Is basically what it is. And
I'm
I don't
not
think,
knocking it, yeah.
yeah, I don't think anybody could live without music completely. So you have to have some form of it in your life. Even if you go to these bushmen living in the middle of nowhere, they have something that they're banging on and they're playing instruments and they're singing. Somehow they're making joyous music. So.
Are there any misconceptions about that scene that you've heard that maybe you would want to?
No, I mean, the scene could be as bad as you make it or as good as you want it to be, just like any scene. I've been to metal shows. I remember seeing Dillinger Escape Plan and loved Dillinger, loved them. And Burial Ground back with Terrence Colantonio and those guys. The scene could be what it is or you could be bad. I mean, it depends on the people and how they react. And,
Sure.
There should be a line that maybe you shouldn't cross.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
There's we'll definitely get into that when we talk about Camp Bisco later.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
yeah.
I think there's definitely that aspect of it. There's the people that are in it that understand it, and then there's people on the outside going, "Well, I don't. This is foreign to me. I don't like this. Therefore, get rid of it. Go away."
Yeah.
It's just like a couple bad seeds that ruin like a whole thing.
And
Sure.
it could.
Like skateboarding's like that, like to have like one skateboarder on the square, like starting a fight or doing something like that. Like people will just assume, oh, all skaters are like,
Yeah.
it's like this.
Brittany.
That's me, like starting the trouble.
Trouble.
But like it's just a couple people like doing like effing things up for like everybody. It's pretty much the gist of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to a lot, the old holy Shakedown Street, we've all heard of it. There you could get whatever you want there, probably. Whatever you want to, whatever fancies you. And I try not to look at it to be about that. If that's what enhances someone's, thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Nice of you.
Oops.
If
Yeah.
someone needs that to elevate their mood or whatever, and they're not bothering anybody, I guess that's okay. But I mean, if you're just going for the music, and like Mount Sky's saying right now, a lot of times, it's all about the kids. They're trying to get more stuff up there for the kids to make it more family orientated,
Right.
And I think that's great because it allows guys like me to go there with my daughter. Things for her to do. She loves the music too.
Sure.
But it creates a whole different atmosphere, I think.
Well, once you hit a certain age, a lot of people kind of drop off because they have kids, they work, whatever else. They can't make it to those kind of shows. So that's a great option to be able to still be able to go and then to pass that on, to give her some appreciation for music too.
It is. It's a good thing. Ragu's trying to do that more family-oriented thing, and I'm 100% behind that, some people may not be, but teach their own. I think it's better to have the whole families there and enjoy together.
Well, that also weeds
Sure.
out people that are there. In that scene, the reason I know we're going to get back to the Camp Bisco thing, but like, there's people that are there for the drugs and there's people that are there for the music.
Mm-hmm.
And when you kind of reorient it to have it be like a family-oriented thing, you're going to lose some of those people that are there for the drugs that do ruin the time for like most of the people, and you're just going to like include the people that are there for the music and are there for like
Sure.
the connection with the people,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Has since you've had your daughter, has that had an influence on your work at all?
Actually, yeah, when I first had her, I stopped doing it completely. Sorry, Molly. I still love you. But no, it was just work at the time, trying to provide for a family. And it wasn't till maybe I last saw Phish in 2004. And then they broke up. Molly was born in 2008. They got back together in 2009. So I wasn't really in that place anymore. She was a baby. Everything was new. And, if you have kids, you don't sleep. You're working. You're providing. You're getting things done. And now that she's getting a little older and she's interested in the things I'm listening to, like she'll be like, oh, Daddy, that was nice. What's this? Or, hey, Daddy, that was cool. Which is awesome, by the way. Yeah. It's something we could share, and it's so awesome that we could share music. And she tries to get me into things from today that she listens to, and I try to appreciate it. It's not my cup of tea, but it's music regardless. And she got older. My buddy's like, let's go see Phish. You haven't seen them in years. Okay. So I went to Hartford, and I bought a ticket. And I got there and saw the best show I've seen in a very long time. And it was just tremendous. Actually, the paper called us Lizards Dancing in the Rain at the end of the night. It was awesome. And immediately got another ticket. Yeah, the newspaper. Whatever.
Movie newspaper.
Whatever printed on it. But a friend of mine sent me it the next day. And I immediately got a ticket that night for Syracuse the next day. And I followed them right to Syracuse. And I saw Mike Fishman play in his hometown at a beautiful, if you ever get a chance, Lakeville, Syracuse Amphitheater. It's just right on the lake. It's absolutely gorgeous. Sunset's right on the lake. And saw another great show. And that basically right there was what put me back into drawing and my art right there. Just the music that one time, one good weekend. And I've created everything you're probably going to see that you're going to show since then.
Yeah, well, now's a good time to put that up on the screen. Then we'll put some of those
switch flip back
pictures
on.
up for people to see.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video version, if you're watching the audio version, sorry. If you're
watching the audio,
you're listening to the audio version. One thing I wanted to ask: how do you a lot of your stuff is inspired by music.
Yeah.
So how do you take something that's oral and make it into something that is physical on paper or on a canvas or something like that?
It's all like when you hear a song telling a story, you could see that story in your head. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, any good story. Tom T. Hall. Sorry, no, it's country. Tom T. Hall or like a Jim Croce or Nick Drake. I love Nick Drake. He was very good too. Van Morrison was a great storyteller. You could see the story in your head and how you operate or let me make that call. You could see the matchbook. You could. What you see, draw it. Figure that out.
Right.
You could probably do it with photography. Put the matchbook old and faded. Click.
We have one of your paintings in the kitchen.
I have one of your photographs on my wall.
Some mutual artist love there.
Yes.
Leave them alone.
Yeah. We'll come back.
Yes, I saw Joe. I met Brittany's boyfriend, Joe, who's a tremendous guy. Great soul. I love Joe.
Yes.
He was a big heart. And we were working together for probably longer than we were changing light bulbs. I don't know how else to put that. We were changing street light bulbs. And boy, let me tell you, that's fun.
I bet.
Yes, so we had all kinds of things. We talked. He's like, wow, you're a deep guy, and I got him thinking about things. I listen to Alan Watts. And then he's like, well, my girlfriend is this fantastic photographer, and he was Brittany Boot, and he started showing me pictures. I'm like, I got to have that one. I got to have that one. I got to have that one. And that's how that all turned out.
We were in the car one night driving, and he usually will listen to like punk, we'll listen to like Bayside, or like Against Me, or like, that's just like what he listens to and what I like too. So that's what we usually listen to together. And it's just, he's playing a Phish song. He's like, I love this Phish song. I'm like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? It was Velvet Sea.
Yeah, Velvet Sea. I remember.
I love that song, and I was like, wow, this is fun. This is a change of little change of pace. He has a little influence on.
And the next day, you got a Scarlet Begonias. I heard.
Yeah, we were at Fridays, and I don't think he knew that song.
No, but he heard me singing it. He was in the air changing light bulbs, and I'm on the ground.
He's like, how do you know
Scarlet
every...
Begonias.
I was singing it at Fridays because it was on, and he's like, how do you know every word to the song? I'm like, how do you not?
Yeah, Scarlet Begonias, man.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, that's how it all started, and then Joe introduced me. Well, actually, it was the first time we met.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit, but nothing anything. So
Yeah, I was looking forward to it.
I was
Joe's
too,
probably
actually.
listening.
Joe,
You're watching.
my boy. So, yeah,
He's probably bright red, just like sitting at home, like, not
he's
even
laughing.
being on it.
He's laughing. I told him when we
Sorry,
started this
babe.
new job, we started working together, and I'm like, "Do you think I should be myself?" And he's like, these guys aren't really philosophy, you know. They're not philosophers. They're not really thinking that deep.
We're a little bit of.
It's hard not to be me, though, you know. So
He tells me you're very you very deep into existential and
Yeah,
the
very-
universe and existence and.
well, I listened to a lot of Alan Watts lately. I really like the Dalai Lama and stuff like that, and I started reading Buddha and all those things, and really, really blown away that it's not really a religion; it's more of a philosophy. It's
It's
an
like a
idea.
belief system, it's like a
'cause
way to approach.
Buddha didn't really claim to be a god or anything like that, so that's
Right.
what I like. But yeah, it's cool. I like thinking out of the box and going really deep with things like that. So, and that also influences my artwork, I'm sure, you know. So,
Very cool.
thank you.
So, what can you tell us about some of those specific pieces? There was one, there was an Alice in Wonderland one, which I personally really liked.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, I was always intrigued with Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass, and I read the book years and years ago, and it's a very different story than Disney's Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
Very different story. It's very dark. It's got a lot more substance to it. And I thought to myself, that was one of the first ones I drew, I thought that it would be a cool story to kind of collage it with all the characters and make it like a splatter. And I decided to start drawing it, and I did. I drew the caterpillar, and then you could see Alice in there a few times, and, you know, the White Knight and things like that. And some of the characters I wanted to draw, and you want to put them a certain way, but you don't have the room. Like, instead, I kind of thought it'd be cool to give them okay, there's the Queen of Hearts. There's a you know, crown around a heart. You know, and other characters that I really like the Jabberwocky or, you know, the White Rabbit, or, you know, the caterpillar. Humpty Dumpty was in that, actually. They're a little bit bigger. So I think my favorite characters really stand out in that one, the Mad Hatter and things. But I actually printed that one black and white, and I only made 20 prints, and I hand color every one of them. So if you get one, I actually color the black and white print, so no two are colored the same. And I think a lot of people like that idea too. So everyone's an original. I only have 4 left. They're almost gone.
That's awesome.
So yeah, they're just about done. And once they're done, I won't make any more. You know, I'll go to something else. Working on a never-ending story.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was just watching a video yesterday with Alan Oppenheimer. I had met him a while ago. He's the voice of Falkor, but he's also the voice of Skeletor,
Yeah.
which is really weird to
That's
think about.
yeah.
Like-
That's a bit of a change up.
yeah, exactly. He did a lot of villains in the 80s, like in a lot of cartoons and stuff, but Falkor was one of the good guys that he got to do. He still has that like golden voice, too.
Oh yeah, that
I met him
I'm
at
a
a
love
convention like
drag.
about a year ago. It was so cool.
It's a great movie. My daughter, it's cool watching some of these movies like, you know, Legend or,
Yeah.
you know,
Forgot about that.
what is it, The Labyrinth? That was
Right.
another great one
Everyone
with Bowie.
loves the Labyrinth.
And she loves all those. Princess Bride. Who
Yeah.
doesn't love Princess Bride, you know? So,
You know, they really don't make those fantasy movies anymore.
no, they
Not even,
remake
like-
them.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
they're doing.
And they're so unimaginative when they do.
Yeah.
Like, I was so disappointed with, you know, speaking of Alice in Wonderland, with Tim Burton's version.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it.
I don't know. I'm annoyed with all of his stuff, really.
Lately, some of
Like,
his
I don't know
stuff
why
is
I
great.
just don't get into that.
He reached a limit back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I think, creatively. And
Yeah,
it seems like
that's the
now
thing,
he's
like-
doing a lot of stuff that's just.
But it's
either
also like, oh, this is what
remakes,
sells, I guess.
rehashes.
Yeah.
Or he made his imprint. He doesn't have to be so out of the box.
But like, still,
Sure.
like, if you're an artist, like, don't you want to be challenged creatively or like
I think they hit a comfortable
progressive
place.
or like, yeah, like I think that it's probably like that with
I think
you know,
they do.
music and
Sure.
all other things. But you never know what he might be. We've talked about this before, like almost restricted to kind of just like do certain things, or like this is how this kind of has to be, and like it has to be your signature Tim Burton thing, you know, or
his
because if he
name's
does
on
something out of the box, or you know, something a little bit different, something that maybe serves his soul and not his bank account, and maybe it'll be different, you know.
I actually agree with that. I think that a lot of artists like that get in a comfortable area. Like if you look at Adam Sandler, just taking for instance, and I know it's a little different, but comedy is a form of art.
Right.
And when he started, who didn't hear, you know, piece of, I don't know if I could say it on a podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, piece of shit card. And, you know, oh, you goat, you stinky bastard, you know, and all that stuff.
Better not.
You better not. I button hook you, man. I button hook you. You know, who, and they were great. And they were like, I feel like pushing the envelope of comedy, like Stephen Lynch, pushing the envelope of comedy.
Right.
But then you get to a point where you made your money, you've kind of gotten to a place where you don't have to worry about pushing the envelope anymore. So you go with the safe route.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
I think he's done that a lot.
I say like with actors, or like there's actors and then there's like movie stars. There's people that choose roles based on, you know, the art that they kind of want to experience, and then there's people that choose roles because it's gonna have big Hollywood explosions and a huge budget.
You know, my buddy George and I were talking about The Thing. I don't know if you guys are into horror movies, but the original Thing with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
You know, when my buddy George, he made a perfect, he said it perfectly, I should say. When the thing is on the table and they're cutting it open and there's all that goo coming out, that was real. That thing was real that you were looking at. There was really slime coming out of the table, and you could react to it. Now it'd be done in front of a blue or a green screen, and everything would be, you know, and you'd have to react how you think it would look. But
That's the difference between the original Star Wars and the prequel Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, where there's so many scenes in the prequels where you can tell they're reacting to nothing, you know, and they're looking around looking for where it is, or they should be, you know, a guy shows up with 10 lightsabers spinning around and Obi-Wan's standing there like, it's no big deal. And it's like, shouldn't he be reacting to this giant monster with several arms that's spinning lightsabers around? But he's not at all. But, you know, you look at some of the effects from the original trilogy, and, you know, yeah, some of them are a little dated, but they hold up. You know, I think they hold up better than the prequels do.
Yeah.
And the prequels aren't that old, you know.
I agree with that. Man. It's CGI has taken away
So
a piece
much.
of something that, like, I just recently started acting with my daughter in community theater, and that's something that I didn't even know I liked to do. I was just asked to do it because my daughter was in it, and that was a memory we would make.
Yeah.
And Molly asked me to be in, the last one was Billy Elliot at Phoenix Performing Arts Center in Duryea. They're good people down there. But I think there's something on stage that you can get back that you don't get from a movie where you could do 45 takes until it's right.
Sure.
You know, I think there's something to be said about someone doing something on stage in the moment, in the now, where there's no, oh, you missed a line, something's going to happen, but you'd be surprised how many mistakes happen in a good play where they had it together. You know, so I think that cinema's losing something there.
I feel like with the bigger budgets and the crazier technology and like the crazier effects, I feel like people or directors or producers have this approach where they almost don't have to put effort into like the dialogue as much, or like the art as much, or the creative aspect as much. It's almost as if like if I could relate it to photography, like when you had to with film, like every photograph you took like counted, and now like you have these DSLRs, so it's like, oh, like I don't need to worry about what I'm doing at
Take
all,
30 of
really.
them real
Like
quick,
yeah,
yeah.
like not that, like, I mean, that's just like kind of the mentality of like, oh, like we don't really need to put effort into that kind of brilliance because we're gonna have this insane, you know, like
People are
you're
paying
gonna
for
run
that
out of a
big
building.
explosion.
It's gonna be like and it's gonna be like people are gonna be totally like hyped about that. So like, who cares? Like, if you know you just had this like brilliant monologue, like just like Neverending Story, like those movies. Like, do you remember like how like complex the physical art was like for like movies like that, and like with makeup now, like there's still that aspect of it. But like just like that stuff,
Even
like
just
you don't.
the movie posters themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
like-
Posters are so thrown together now. It's all Photoshop. They just take people's heads and shove them
Technology
together, put
almost
a title on it.
like it takes the art out of things. I feel
People
like
are paying to see CGI rather than. And Eddie Ackerman will love me for quoting this. Rosebud from Citizen Kane. Was it Citizen Kane? I believe. Yes. Am I saying that right? Yeah. Citizen Kane. Where you got involved in a movie because of the story plot and the actors drew you into that, even though it's the same as a play, you know it's
You invested
fake.
in it
You know
because-
it's fake.
Yeah.
But a good actor is going to pull you into that. And I still think the talent's there. I just don't think they use it. You know, I just
Right.
don't think they use it.
if you watch any like, and this isn't that long ago, like 50 years ago, like I watch like old movies. I just like to like like if I'm home at night and I'm just like gonna put something on.
James
like,
Cagney, baby.
Yeah, like I want to watch like Some Like It Hot or like an Audrey Hepburn film or like any of those, like or a John Wayne or like I love like old spaghetti westerns. Like I love watching that
Me
stuff.
too. I love spaghetti
But it's
westerns.
also interesting. Like I love them. Like I just love the sounds. Like I don't know. I can't do it right
I don't
now.
know, with
'cause
Clint
I'm on
Eastwood.
the spot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So and like. Sorry.
What was that?
Like that was more like a Star Wars sound. I think actually.
Pew, pew, pew.
Like,
Steampunk.
I can't do it. But I watch those. Like I'll watch like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and I'm like, wow, you actually like. It used to require an immense amount of talent to be in pictures.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yes,
know,
it did.
like you had to
Sing, dance,
have a
act.
personality,
Right.
and you had to like be able to start singing, and like start dancing, and like start like just doing things that require talent and practice and effort and energy and time, and people's like invest their whole lives in it. Not that people aren't like that now. Actors are like real actors, like Daniel Day-Lewis, people like him, and people like Christian Bale. Like they invest in their craft.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I think you're right 100%.
But it's just not
yeah.
like that now.
Not anymore. No, people don't really, I mean, the story is a lot like we were saying, CGI, things are thrown together. I think you lose a lot without that. Yeah, I agree with that. So,
Hirsch, actually, who was one on our previous episodes, said, Britt, do that whistle again. He also said that you have a nice hat.
thank you. Got this at discount for Newsies in New York.
Nice.
1 for 25, 2 for 50.
What a
Tell-
deal.
Hirsch,
Yeah, right?
me and Rich are eternally regretful that we were not on the podcast with you guys when you came on.
Don't
Yeah,
let them lie to you, Hirsch.
I was like, oh, Hirsch is coming on. I gotta do some
I gotta
stuff.
do stuff.
I gotta be somewhere. Something suddenly came up.
Bobby Clark says, what's so great about Marc-Andre Fleury? I think that's a typo.
No, that's right.
Flurry?
No, you know what's great about him? Nothing. No, I'm joking. that was a beer joke inside a bar. What? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you never the
Atta
stuff
boy,
that,
Bobby.
that comes out of the comments. You never know.
Joe says enough about me.
Yeah, enough about me. Let's talk
I
about
told
me.
you he'd be home like all red, like, oh, I can't.
Johnny Bravo. Enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Oh dear. What else we got?
Let's see. Well, I did notice that you must be a bit of a comic fan, or at least superhero fan or something, because I did see some Wolverine art. and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Big. That was a huge part of my life. I was going to be a comic book artist. Maybe I still will be.
You
Who
still
knows?
can.
Yeah, you never know.
No, but when I was a kid, that was all I wanted to do was, especially those 80s over-the-top comics,
Yeah.
And I got into the Scarlet Spider-Man. Actually, there was probably one in there that if he posted, I'm not sure. But that was a huge story for me. I remember reading through the clone of Scarlet Spider-Man or Spider-Man. Which one's the real? Anyway, I could bore everybody for years on my...
If you were a comic
Usually.
book character, who would you be?
Who would I be? Comic book character. I don't know. I think I'd be Fukuki.
Who's that?
That's my own comic book character, and it is
Oh.
me.
That's the best answer ever.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually the book. I finished drawing my own book just recently.
So you are a comic book artist.
Yes, but I haven't published it yet. It's actually a book about this guy named Fukuki who do you guys want to hear this story?
I totally want.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I was gonna say, okay, so Fukuki was
Have you
a
seen
mushroom farmer. Yeah, you totally, yeah. He was a mushroom farmer in this place called what the hell where's his man, something Hollow.
Fakuki, is he Asian?
Harvest Moon Hollow is where he lived. That's right, Harvest Moon Hollow. No, he's not. He's me. It's
But
actually
like
me.
you can make an Asian version of yourself.
I guess I can. Well, in the light of things, he goes into the pub one night and he meets some travelers, and this is like very Lord of the Rings style kind of stuff, you know. And these travelers are talking about finding Persimmon's touch. And if you know what Persimmon's touch is, I don't know if anybody here knows what it is. It's at a Dead show in the early days of the Dead and on. They said that the whole crowd could experience the same. Holy moly, did you feel that? You know, oh my God, what was that? That was amazing. It's called Persimmon's touch. So I riddled the book with Dead and Phish and Moe and jam band references throughout the whole book. A couple of the girls that were at Mount Sky just recently, they were the Dancing Bear Tribe. And they were at the Stonehenge Festival. They're in it as the four keepers of the wind at Franklin's Tower, all right, and they guard the bell. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into the book. I mean, I could go into the whole story, but we don't know if we have enough time. It's a long one.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
It is. Fukuki does find Persimmon's touch. He becomes a god, and he ends up residing on Mount Sky, where gods
Is it
waste
finished?
their time.
Nice.
The first book is finished. The whole story is finished. I have it written out. The whole story is done.
Yeah, but drawing it, I'm sure,
Is
a whole
tedious.
other-
I'm working 80 hours a week with Joe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like a lot. Like we were talking about that before we started. It's like insane.
And then I have a daughter on top of it that I'm taking care of on. It's just tedious time to get my artwork done when I'm working.
Sure.
So
Now, so how did you end up becoming an electrician?
a couple cousins were doing it, and it seemed like a great idea. I'm not. It's a lineman's union, actually. But yeah, they were doing it, and they got me into the local. That's pretty much how it went down.
Which we are in.
Yeah, this actually where we are right now is the old 1319 local office. Very nostalgic. I took a lot of tests in this building.
In this exact space. That's so crazy to
Actually,
me.
about 5 feet that way, because there was another room here.
It's full circle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I know.
It's
I love stuff like
it's a
that.
metaphor to this whole meeting right now. I started this and then I got into art and I'm back here. It's interesting.
So you've sold your artwork have you sold it at festivals or just online, or how do you sell your artwork?
Word of mouth right now and online. I post things. I have Jeweled Moon if you go on Facebook, or Jeweled Moon Art on Instagram. If you like a piece of artwork, I have a lot of things. I have prints, like I said, but I only make limited prints. I'll sell it online, and when it's gone, it's gone. That's all I'm doing right now, basically. I wish I could articulate that better. The beer might be kicking in.
Pretty, yeah, to the point.
Yeah.
I did want to mention this before we get to the last word too. Tell us about the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
Oh, well, I was online one night, and there was a thing to get a certificate as an ordained minister in the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
I did that.
You did it too?
Yeah.
You got a certificate?
Yeah.
I printed mine out, and I have it hanging in my house.
Wait, to be like a
A minister in the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
Yeah.
So
And I
like the
had-
Big Lebowski, is that like a Big
Yeah.
Lebowski thing?
Easy, man. I have a beverage here.
I got a fucking beverage here, man.
Easy, man.
Just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I had it hanging on my cubicle for the longest time, and it's gone now. But
Yeah, it's great.
I really think
man.
we need to do more impressions on this show.
Actually, there's a.
I got some good ones. We
You're
won't get into.
alright.
We'll save.
I
We'll
can't
save
do
them. We'll save them. I'll draw them out. Like I have 5 good ones, so we'll just like do
I
one.
don't know.
I'll do one every other show, so people keep watching.
I feel like a decent Christopher Walken. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try it.
We'll practice it.
Yo,
And
gerbil up your, Mr. Lynch.
Do it again.
Do
Everyone
it
does
again.
that one.
Yeah.
I just go whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. That's good.
Yeah. You're talking at me
one-
all wrong. If you
one-
do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
That's great.
I try, and I'm not very good at it.
So, fun fact. I always have these little Snapple facts.
Oh, geez.
It's not really a Snapple fact. I didn't get it off a Snapple can, but it's like a Britney Snapple fact.
It's a Beer Boys fact.
Yeah, it's a Beer Boys fact. There you go.
Beer Boys fact.
So I had learned somewhere along the way that Christopher Walken speaks that way and talks that way. This could be totally wrong, so Chris, please don't be mad at me. I know how you get.
As soon as I let him out of my basement.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. You can set me straight. But he gets scripts and he takes all the punctuation out of them. So that's why he talks like, he'll be like, one time, and then like...
It's 7 Psychopaths when
Yeah.
they're like, put your hands up. No.
I
crack up when he does
you
it
didn't know
every
if it's a
time.
question mark, or it's a question or a period or like a comma or like an entire sentence at times. So that's what I was told, that he just makes them take all the punctuation out and he just reads the script as he does it in his head.
That's
It
awesome.
sounds like it would be right.
It totally makes sense.
That could be
but
totally so made up. It's like, because I don't even remember where I heard it or why I
I
heard
hope
it.
Christopher
Or if
Walken
I just
types
like,
in. That would be awesome.
it could be just one of those things that like I thought and was like, I'm going to tell people that as if it's true.
That's awesome. Yeah, just put it out
Went to
there.
Piers one night.
It's like, yeah, you know, Christopher, you know, you just like start like.
that
you don't-
sounds very
you don't know-
plausible, and then it
You don't know
adds
where
on.
things come from,
One
like
of
the
those lies
information
that
you
you
had. Yeah.
Keep telling yourself.
Just like totally,
"That's true."
totally full of shit. I did like hear that somewhere though, but you never know. You never know
Google
what.
it later.
Yeah,
Google
you never
it.
know what the truth is.
Yep, that's the thing.
Like I
Google's
said-
only a hand right away.
I'll just talk to
Google.
Chris later.
We'll talk to him, see what he says.
Yeah.
Like, again, I have to let him out of my basement first.
Is he in the witness protection program down there?
Yes, he is. He's going under. He's actually a janitor for the school, the local
Yeah.
school system.
I wish.
Joe Dirt.
Yes.
That's why they called you Joe Dirt instead of Nunamaker. That's my favorite line in that movie. I don't know why.
That's why they call you Joe Dirt.
Instead of Nunamaker.
You're my
Sorry.
sister. That's so bad. Sorry.
Have you guys seen the second one?
No, I didn't even know they made a second one.
I saw. I
Was
didn't
it
see
good or
No, I
no?
didn't watch it. I saw
Ah.
it like, it was on Hulu or.
I don't know. He ended up with
Netflix
Brandy
or-
at the end. He got a new dog. He got his Hemi. What could possibly
Like, so
get?
your hair just grows in like all white trash like that? Like,
Don't try and church it up, son.
Yeah.
Joe Dirt Day.
Do you want the grass or the gravel? You know, he's going.
Back up my grave.
I was thinking it'd be funny if we did, like, speaking of movies, like with our sponsors, like, you know how like they do it in Wayne's World? Like, very subtly, but like not at all. It's like,
Like,
very obvious. You know, in Wayne's World, yeah.
The Scooby Doo ending.
But like they zoom like right in on like the Coca-Cola can, and it's like really funny.
Yeah, that is
Gerard, what
funny.
do you think?
Can we do that? Can we do like Wayne's World type?
Can we zoom
That's
right in
not
on the
Gerard.
Beer Boys
I don't know
SBC
what
can?
And they're looking at us like, no.
No,
we're
it's not happening?
today.
Not happening?
I said not today.
Anyway,
Well, I guess we should get to the last word then. Now, this week we want to talk about Camp Bisco, since that seems to be the topic of conversation in the media. Whether that's good or bad is another thing. Now, for those who don't know, it is an EDM music festival. It's curated by the Disco Biscuits, a group out of Philadelphia.
They're phenomenal.
And we just want we asked viewers earlier today if it's hysteria stirred up by the media, or are there serious issues to be addressed with this. Here's what happened the last maybe week or so. A day before, this is the third year that it's at the pavilion. It's been around for over a decade, I believe, at this point. A vendor was hit by a car and killed.
Oh, man.
Which was not near the festival, mind you. It was just that he was walking towards the
but
festival.
was he like effed up, like on drugs? Like that's the question.
I don't think they've ever. I haven't seen any updates in terms of what his condition was, or
Autopsy.
Because how would that
whatnot.
even be relevant? If anything, it's just a tragic thing. You know.
And see, and that's an
the
important
driver
thing to note
being
is there's a
effed up
lot
on
of these headlines that are they throw Camp Bisco in the headline, but is it actually relevant to the story? Like there was a guy after the festival who he got into a fight with the two girls that he was with, and the police arrested him and everything else. So they put after Camp Bisco, this happens. Well, if it's after the festival, it's nowhere near the festival. They were on the highway when this incident occurs.
I think the thing is just who they're tracking.
Right. So they put it in a headline to get you to click on it, to get the comments going, to get people stirred up, that kind of thing. I mean, WNEP, I hate to say it because, I've watched them for a long time and everything, but they have just become complete clickbait nowadays. Like,
don't forget, a lot of people
like
don't
that
even,
too.
they know that you're not even going to click on it. They just want the headline to dictate what it's going to. So a lot of people don't even click on the article or read it.
Right, and that's the problem, is they're not even making an informed comment
You were at
about
Camp
the
Bisco,
article.
right?
Yes.
So what was your experience?
Well, mine was a little strange because I was mostly behind the scenes. Keith, our photographer, was there to shoot the event. I was actually working behind the scenes as a driver, so I was driving the artists back and forth, basically for a couple extra bucks. And I did it last year, and I liked it, so I did it again this year. So I would only kind of get out to the festival in between, when things had died
So
down.
you didn't have like the average concert goers.
Sure, exactly. Like I wasn't there. I was there for maybe a couple sets in total for the most part when I was waiting for the next person to pick up and stuff like that. But I wasn't experiencing it the same way that other people were. I obviously didn't see some of this craziness that people were talking about. One of the other things was a man going to the event. Had 3 tanks of laughing gas, 150 doses of LSD.
What was it, Hunter S. Thompson, like on his way to Camp Bisco?
Jesus Christ, what are these?
This year's backcountry. Like, what the hell was that?
Assumingly he was going to sell this at the festival.
Funny thing
I
about
don't think he was going to do that
laughing
all
gas.
himself.
So you're screwed up. There's nothing you can do about it.
This is like that movie quote episode. I love it.
I love that movie.
So and the other thing is too, there's a lot of people overdosing. A lot of people being rushed to the hospital and stuff like that. So there's always a bunch of arrests. I actually witnessed an arrest with a guy in a Bart Simpson shirt, which just made it so much better.
Did you go?
I wanted to.
Milhouse.
And then, of course, there's the cleanup afterwards.
Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me. Like these, like
so much crap.
I do believe that some of these kids really have no, like this is what's
That's
annoying. This is what's annoying
disgusting.
because a lot of this scene, and I'm not trying to stereotype or be judgmental, but they are like some of them are like the jam band scene. They're like respect the earth and like all this shit. And then, like, they just totally...
Leave garbage everywhere.
Yeah.
I know, I agree.
Who are you talking to like that, first of all, like, preaching that way and, like, free love and all that, and then just, like, disrespecting your body to,
that's
like,
why
a
I like
point
the smaller
where it's,
venues.
like, and then trashing the place. Like, that's what I, like, that hypocritical, like, shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't get it.
It drives me up a
The
tree.
drugs are going to happen. It's happened for years.
Yeah, decades and
we
decades.
live in a world now where everything's just magnified more. And, but that's the problem.
That's the, like,
just the disrespect.
the
I know that there's a company in Old Forge that allowed parking. They just had land, so they had a deal with the what do you call it, the venue, and they had people park in the lot. But it was literally like the backyard of people's homes.
Yeah.
So like
the Bloomsburg Fair.
Yeah. So like I heard people that live in Old Forge were like hearing chants outside like at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah, you're bothering people.
If you have
who
such
can't
respect
sleep and,
for
right.
art and people and the earth and the community and
sure
that, like, and then you act like that, like, that's the only thing that bothers me about it. And again, like, there's a couple people that ruin it for the whole thing. Like, obviously not every person that's at Camp Bisco is like an idiot, like, that's clueless and like going to be disrespectful, but
there's enough of them.
There's enough of them
to make a mess.
And that scene isn't like that. It's easy to confuse that scene with the jam band scene too.
No, you know what though? It is somewhat of that scene, but it's what the scene has become versus like if you go up to Yasgur's farm or if you go to Mount Sky or Penn's Peak.
It's like your natural
and you
drug
go to
people and
these
your
smaller
chemical drug
venues where
people.
people it's a completely different scene. I went to Peach Fest last year. And granted, listen, Peach Fest, I only went Saturday. I want to go this year, but I can't see. I only want to go Saturday again to see Pink Talking Fish play Eat a Peach because this band is amazing, and I don't think I'm going to go. I really don't think I'm going to go this year. I think I'm going to skip it because $108, and again, you get phenomenal bands, you get a phenomenal entertainment and stuff.
Sure.
But $12 beers and the crowd is, like you were saying, it's kind of disrespectful. There's things going down. People, it's not
Is it younger?
I don't know.
Younger, like.
I think it's.
I think it's everything.
I think it's everything.
I
think it's everything.
I think.
These kids who were
I think.
Yeah, you pick up my trash.
Whereas
But
the
I think
whole-
disco is
Maybe. I mean,
generally
maybe.
younger.
The
I
whole
think
concert
each gets a
industry
little
is
bit of
pretty
everybody.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a little like extortion. Like, oh, you're thirsty. Here's you got $10. Like, here's a bottle of water. Like, that is like, you know what I mean? Like the whole concert industry, like that. Like, how much money do you need to make off a concert? Like, to feel like you had a successful
Not
show.
to mention they have 2 different liquor licenses up there.
Oh, like yeah, you can't go like.
Someone just bought a $12 margarita, and they are walking down to the main stage to see the band that they're going to play, and
Right.
they have a spot where you have to throw that $12 margarita away because you
Because-
didn't buy it in our section.
Right, because they want you to
That's-
buy their, like, the whole thing with money, like, the role that it plays on art is so disgusting, especially, like, in the movies, in, like, the Hollywood thrillers, in that scene, in every, like, music scene, really, but, like, I don't know, like, it seems like a lot of scenes, like, aren't necessarily like that, too, like, is the metal scene like that?
I think everybody is. I think that's
You know,
the
like,
thing.
is it? Like,
I
is
think
the
it's
punk
all-
scene like that? Or is it just, like,
I think it's all kind
I've
of.
been to ska shows
mean-
where they left garbage everywhere, you know?
You've got the same couple of companies that own every venue
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
so they all
That
run them the
Live
same
Nation.
way, and it just kind of it takes away from that that overall
that experience
Yeah.
and the like it's extortion, you know, like to have some water, like, and you're at a festival, like there is no, like, they don't give a shit about, you know, giving back to like the crowd or like the audience, you know, they're here to sell you an experience, but
Right.
with that comes like
Everything else.
a bunch of bullshit really that like you didn't even realize you signed
Well,
up for.
if you look at people going to the Peach, the 19-year-old girl and guy that are going in there with a little baggie full of mushrooms, okay, because that's what they do. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about the guy that's got, you know,
Like
20 kilos of coke and he's trying to oversell it to anybody he
Yeah.
can, you know,
Sure.
or Molly or whatever that they're doing.
Right.
Like those are the things you got to look out for. It's not the guy that's trying to sneak in with a joint in his pocket,
Right.
you know, or whatever. It's the
Right.
people that are going there just like you said,
They're
because they're
opportunists.
selling the drugs and they know they're going to make a mint
right.
there, and that's
Yeah.
I think that ruins the
they
scene.
see the
It does.
opportunity. It does.
It does. And I mean, I think you could have that in any environment. I think a lot of the other environments are more low key.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you could go to Sherman Theater and see a show, and a good show for that matter, and there's always a little element of it there, but I don't think it's as magnified. You don't get all these people coming in from out of state that have.
Yeah.
It's every scene has their thing. Like country, like for example, like they get shit faced and like fight. You know, like you wouldn't think at a country concert, but like that happens at a country concert. You
Shirt
know?
off.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna do
Saw that
whole
Yanni
southern
once.
thing, but
Big fight at Yanni.
yeah.
I think the stereotype is that you're going to have more problems at something like Bisco, but I think you have just as many at a country concert.
With
or
Bisco, it's much
anything
more
else.
I
amplified.
agree with that.
I think.
Yeah, you know, well, it's I found it just very overwhelming. Like, there's a lot of people in a small space, and you would think, no, it's a huge space, but it feels very small.
Yeah, because there's so many people.
Yeah, because there's so many people, and they're all moving, and they're all like, you know, it just crunched up against each other the whole time, and to me, it was like too claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of cases.
I think the mountains always kind of had like, even when it's not crowded, it feels that way there. I don't know why. Like
I say it once, I say it again. Mountain Sky.
Mountain Sky is great. Mountain Sky is a great vibe. Like
It's
great
such a beautiful
atmosphere.
place. There's
Sometimes on Montage Mountain, for some reason, it's just like, yeah, there's like this weird anxiety.
anxiety.
Anxiety in the air. What
I get
is
it too. I
that?
don't know. It's the vibe that's
I get it
there.
as soon as I start walking up. Like,
And there's some great people there too.
and
That's
it's
not
not
me.
about what concert I'm at, or I get it. Like I got it at Blink-182. Like and I was, you know what I mean? Like it's just there's something there.
The coolest thing about Peach and Camp Bisco is driving on 81 and seeing the mountains full
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
that is
Yeah,
cool.
I saw a huge campfire.
We
up
drove
there,
past
too,
it
the
and
one-
someone else with goes, drop a bomb on it. I said, that's not nice.
Hey, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
You know, it is fun. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy the Peach last year. We went for a Saturday.
I shouldn't have said that. That was like really alarming.
You're right now being investigated by FBI. Sorry, Chris Walken. Christopher
She said
Walken,
bomb
listen.
on the air.
Brittany's gone.
Yeah.
But I think I had a blast, and the show was top notch. You can't. I mean, they're paying the best artists. I mean, I saw Trey Anastasio and his band play with Les Claypool.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
it
said-
doesn't get much better than that.
I saw that last year. That was
A phenomenal show.
So-
Joe Russo's Dead was amazing. Twiddle played a great show.
Yeah.
So many good bands up there, and I did enjoy myself. I don't want to make it sound like I went up on that mountain and hated it.
Sure.
We had
Well, you
fun.
said it earlier. The best, like you make the best of what it is or the worst of what it is.
It is. It's up to you. When you go there and I mean, it's the same thing as going to a party. Like, if you're deciding, I'm not driving tonight, I'm going to have a good time, Or I know I have Uber or whatever, and you're going to go and have 25 beers. Is it the best decision in the morning? Not so much. Like Jerry Seinfeld said, morning guy hates night guy, No one likes night guy. That guy's terrible. But, I mean, we've all been there. I think it's the same with anything that they're doing. It's what you make of it.
Yeah.
And I think you also have to look at the positives of those things too, because the majority of concert goers obviously were no problem.
Yeah,
because
and they had a good
They all
time.
had a good time. They all enjoyed themselves. The venue employs a lot of local people. Every year, and maybe it's just seasonal, but that's still important.
Yeah.
The local economy benefits quite a bit when
Sure,
these festivals
hotels.
come through. All the hotels were booked solid. I know because I was driving people back and forth for the whole time. All the local businesses, people are driving off and, going to a restaurant or something like that. Same with the artists. The artists got to eat too. Sometimes they eat the catering that's there, and sometimes they want to go out somewhere.
It's also when you're under a microscope, like Camp Bisco is like anything, any little thing that goes wrong,
Yeah, I
like
agree
it's
with
gonna
that.
be,
Yes.
gonna be.
Like you were saying.
They nitpick.
Right.
They nitpick, and
Yeah.
they
They're looking for it,
Right, exactly. They want that juicy headline.
They're not gonna do that for Tom Petty, necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. They don't go out of their way for it in the same way because they know it drums people up, and there's a certain audience that they're looking for.
People want to
that they
hate
want.
it.
Yeah,
They know
wanna-
that this
so-
area, there's a good amount of people that want to hate it, so they're gonna capitalize on that.
Sure. So the contract is actually up this year. They did a 3-year contract. So now it's kind of the waiting game of are they going to renew or are they going to go take the festival somewhere else?
No, I think
because it's been a couple other places before.
the money is going to dictate that.
Yeah.
How much did I make in the end? And I
Yeah.
think they
Right.
probably made money.
I would say so.
That's a good venue.
What are
I mean,
tickets
if you
like for
don't
that?
mind sleeping on the side of a mountain on a 90-degree hill, I mean,
I can't do
Plus
like the
you're-
camping at a concert
Yeah, the
thing.
camping. I don't know how people did
Like
that, but-
I can't.
It's on
Especially
a
if you're
ski
hung,
resort,
imagine if
I
you
mean-
drink and
Yeah.
you're hungover and you wake up at 6 a.m, it's all hot and like
no, I could do the camping.
you need
I'd
just,
much
to
rather
brush your
camp.
teeth and like an iced
So
coffee.
glad, yeah.
Level
I'm
ground.
going camping this week.
But I mean,
cannot.
they had trucks running the entire time, shipping people up and down the hills and stuff, so they didn't have to walk and everything.
Well, that's
So
cool.
there was a lot. I mean, they do a
Well-
lot there to try and accommodate people.
Yeah.
So
Well, they-
I think
money they're
people
making,
miss
I'm
that
sure.
part of it. But so I want to read some of the comments that we got earlier. Most of them are actually not what you would think. They're not the WNEP comment section. It's not Talkback 16. Thank God.
Nice.
The train. Where's the train?
Where's the train?
We should have a talk back podcast. Sorry.
We should.
Why
I
is
hope you
that
invite
girl
me for that
giggling
one.
all the time?
I'll come for
Every
that one.
time I tune in, she's giggling.
Come on, laughing gas.
Did she meet Hunter S. Thompson outside?
Is she going to Camp Bisco?
Oh, sorry.
So Eric Davitt says, I ran sound at the Renegade stage that ran from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. each night. God bless you.
Well, it's a long day.
I
Eric.
didn't feel at any time that the festival was out of hand. The very few people that take the good time too far should be held accountable individually. I would also like to make it known that the security at Live Nation was top notch, and they did a great job making me and my equipment 100% safe during the 3 days. The boost to the local economy, in my opinion, helps a lot of people and businesses in our area. Greg says if hippies are going to spend money to
Always
party
those damn
and take a
hippies.
bunch of drugs for 3 days, they might as well do it here.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's true, man. I'll agree with that.
Totally.
You're in an environment that everyth's there that you need. There's a
Exactly.
first aid station if you need it.
Yeah, and they're usually pretty quick about it. Nick Horsey says there will always be a few that try to ruin the fun. That's life. Remember Woodstock? So, you know, people look at that differently now, too. You know, I think at the time, I'm sure there were probably plenty of people, oh, it's a menace, it's terrible, they're drug fiends and everything else. And now we're like, oh, Woodstock. I wish we could go back to those days.
Yeah.
Not to
The
open up a
envelope
can of worms,
pushed,
but
like
wasn't
you're
there
saying.
like a ton of like rapes at Woodstock and like a bunch of like terrible things that happened?
I'm sure
Was there really?
Yeah.
Wow. I have not done my homework on Woodstock. And for a guy that's into the jammy music, it wasn't really, I guess I didn't live it, so I don't.
Well, yeah, we didn't live it. So,
Right,
you know,
like
that's-
I was at 99. That's a little different, though.
Barb Lanning Mueller says, if the cost of taxpayers is greater than the benefit of bringing the venue in, if people are overdosing, chances are they are brought to local hospitals and don't have insurance. The cost of extra security, cleanup, etc. Is it worth it? The pros and cons and costs really have to be evaluated. In the long run, we the taxpayers are the ones who suffer. Do we really want Montage to have a reputation like some
Yeah.
other cities? We're trying to build Scranton up, not tear it down further.
I agree with her.
You know, she looks at it, you know, from the other side.
So it's a way to look at it, yeah.
Sure. So definitely opinions all around. I didn't see
Johnny,
any-
what's so funny over there?
Hirsch is texting me. I can't repeat what he's saying
Why?
because I can't.
he's already filled our comment section enough tonight. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's a good thing. If you know, if I'm going to give my opinion, I think that any festivals like this, you know, they're going to have their problems, no matter what kind of genre of music it is. I think the local media blows some of this stuff a little bit out of proportion.
They do.
You know, for headlines and clicks and stuff like that, and you know, we're not really about that on NEPA Scene. I think we can get clicks just by, you know, delivering real content about you know, real things that are going on in the area and
Like sincere content.
yeah,
Yeah,
stuff
I agree
that's
with that,
not,
too.
You know, speculating or adding the opinion in the headline.
Right.
You know, as it taints the coverage.
Right.
You know, I think people should have to read the facts and come to their own conclusion.
Like they're either clicking on it because it offends them, or they're clicking on it because they're like, "F yeah," like that's how I feel too. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, you know, any type of music venue, I believe, is an outlet for someone to go up and enjoy whatever they like to listen to. It doesn't matter. I kind of agree with what you said. It goes back to really what I said earlier. It is what you make of it.
Sure.
You could end up in cuffs if you want to make it that route, and
Right.
that's your choice. I mean, as grown adults, you know. So,
Well, Patrick, we want to thank you for being on the show.
thank you, Galt. Thank you very much.
Nice
I
to meet you,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was awesome.
Really
It was
cool.
really fun.
Great to be introduced to your artwork. And can you tell people again where they can find that?
Sure, you can find it at Jeweled Moon Facebook. You can look it up, just like the page, and follow it, and you'll get all my updates on my art. And Jeweled Moon Art on Instagram. And I did have an Etsy store, but I got rid of it for a while, and now I'm probably going to put it back up.
Stay tuned for Fakuki.
Yeah, Fakuki. I
Yeah.
also have fish coloring books I drew.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're still out there.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
thank you very much, guys, for having me on. I really enjoyed this.
You're welcome.
And the beer was good, too.
It was good. Thank you, beer boys.
Beer boys.
Growlers.
Crawlers.
Got it.
Stuff. All right. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.